Clear Channel's iHeartRadio. Welcome to the Jane Wilkens Michael Show. Better than before. An hour of beauty, health, fitness, and lifestyle advice from renowned columnist and author Jane Wilkens Michael and her guests, top experts in their fields. Join Jane's campaign to become better than before. Now, here she is, Jane Wilkens Michael.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jane Wilkens Michael Show, Better Than Before on iHeartRadio Talk. I'm Jane. I'm coming to you live from New York City. I want to thank you so much for being with us. Do you know, one of the most gratifying aspects about doing this show, and also from my writing and my book, Long Live You, is the feedback I get from my audience. And it is heartening and encouraging that the message that Lori and my producer and I try to get across is that no matter how old or how young you are, it is never too early or too late to start to live a longer, healthier, happier, more beautiful life. And that has resonated. And it's all about taking little steps every day to improve yourself emotionally, physically, intellectually, and spiritually. Am I right, Lori? My wonderful Lori Houston, who is one of my greatest inspirations.
Oh, you are too kind. But yes, you are absolutely right.
And you know, Lori, one of the questions that I'm often asked, especially from women, is it really possible to actually be happier, less stressed, more self-fulfilled, have more confidence, not be so negative about, well, everything? And if so, how do I begin to make this change? Because I'm really not happy the way things are. Well, here's the secret, and we've talked about it before, Lori. Nothing is going to change until you do. But you can't do it overnight. There are no quick fixes or magic bullets. In other words, you can't change everything that you feel is wrong with your life all at once. And we also talked about it with our guest last week, that change is a process. And progress is not necessarily a straight line. As I say in my book, you have to start with baby steps. And the Japanese have a word for it. It's kaizen. Actually, two words, kai for happiness, zen for change. In other words, continuous change for the better is what it's all about. We've just started this new year, as you all know. And as my good friend and holistic healer, Laura Norman, recently shared with me, a new cycle has just begun. And with it, the opportunity to take stock and make conscious choices. A great time to be healthier, happier, and a time to grow. And she quotes Alan Cohen, who says in his wonderful book, A Deep Breath of Life, we can transform our lives by changing the way we think about possibilities. We are prone to picture our future as an extension of our past, but we have no guarantee at all that our future will be anything like our past. And just when you think you know it all, life comes along and says, here, let me show you a bigger universe. It's there for us, everyone, this magical universe. We have the power to achieve our goals, our dreams. We just have to trust in ourselves, in our hearts and souls, and know that all three powerful forces can work with us in a very positive way to help us become better than before. And speaking, Lori, of becoming better than before, is my guest, Jenna LaValle. Sorry, I'm laughing because I practice this. It is not pronounced the way it's spelled. So
it is not. It's a hard one. It's LaValle. It's
LaValle.
Okay.
Right. It's written in French, so there you go. Jenna is a very, very good friend of mine. And I know that her personal story will encourage and inspire you, as it did me, as it does for so many people who go to her website, gettingclosereveryday.com, and also to her Facebook page. Jenna is a wellness expert and fitness enthusiast, but she wasn't always. Here's where she truly excelled. Through incredible dedication and hard work, she has reclaimed her life and lost almost 140 pounds. That's like a whole person. She's now a size 6. It's a whole person, maybe then some. She is now a size 6, and if you look at her picture on her website, you would never know that she was ever anything bigger than that. And yes, as we know, we all have our ups and downs. As Cher once said, if it came in a bottle, everybody would have a great body. And Jenna recently had a very frightening incident, a health scare, in fact. And as you all know, everything is mentally challenging when you're afraid. That is why I take my blood pressure every 5 minutes to assure myself that I'm not having a stroke. And Jenna is living proof that if you live a healthy lifestyle, it's not only good for you, but it prepares you for the unexpected. health issues, any issues, in fact. But Jenna, you can tell us all about it yourself. Welcome, Jenna. Thanks so much for being with us, and forgive the pronunciation of your name.
Oh, thank you so much, Jane. It's great to be back and excited to be here. Yes, I had lost 139 pounds, so I should round it up to 140. It sounds better.
I know. 139 is pretty amazing, so don't worry about it.
And I did that through, I was heavy for 13 years, and I worked with some fantastic people that were crushing their sales goals every day, and I was as well. And I just felt like, what am I missing with this group? Everyone's getting up really early in the morning, and everybody's really happy and working hard, playing hard. And I was just surprised at all the dedication in the gym. And it's really for stress, right? And health and, mental balance. And I asked my boss one day, do you know of a trainer or somebody that could help me? And he sent me in the right direction. And that just was the start of it. And everybody cheered me on. And he really led me into this great space of how to eat and, kept me accountable. And I think the number one thing for the messaging here is make yourself accountable and stick with people that will cheer you on, and put it out there every day and stay the course. And I think that's why I'm here today.
And you get a lot of support. But let's backtrack a little bit. And we've talked about this before, that even at your heaviest, you never lack self-confidence, you never lack self-esteem. But what you did lack was the mental strength to believe that you actually could lose weight. And, I know many people, they want to lose weight, they want to stop drinking or doing other stuff, right? But they really haven't hit rock bottom. So they just keep continuing with their self-destructive habits until they do become self-destructive. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. What was your turning point? Literally, I know you had just mentioned that, but what was it that you said that day, that moment, as Donna Summer sings, enough is enough. I have to do it today.
I just did not like the way I was feeling. I didn't have a health scare, but every time I talked to my doctor, and I had such a great doctor, she saw me go up and down in weight with the crash dieting and losing 30 and gaining 50. And I was tired of going to weddings or going on a vacation, and I was in complete denial until I had to get in that dressing room and put on that bathing suit or put on a really nice dress. And I was just over it. And I was traveling and having so much fun. And I was ashamed, even though I was happy, I was ashamed of how I looked and how I was feeling. I wasn't truly happy with myself. So that was really the turning point. And when I decided to tell somebody and share that with somebody, that really made me say it out loud. And I don't know why it was that person. I don't know how that became. It was just somebody that cheered me on in my work life. And I just felt it was a safe place for me to just say, okay, I'm doing this. And I had asked, family and friends so many times, or I had shoved them kind of away and said, oh, I'll do it. So I just wanted to really be taken seriously, and I was ready to do it. And I really wanted to make someone who was an outsider help me achieve that. And so it was just my first chance that I really decided to do it. It just clicked. And I'm glad I didn't have a health scare, but I knew I was close to being pre-diabetic, and I had a lot of anxiety. I was in a sales role and going hard every day and achieve those goals. But with that comes stress. And if you're not working out, I don't know, I was a stress eater.
Yeah,
so that didn't help.
It's a vicious cycle. And Jenna, I have a friend, and we talked about him before, and he weighs, I think he said he weighs 300 pounds now, and he doesn't even leave his house. He works from home, and he doesn't have to. But it took him, he keeps saying, I'm going to start on Monday. And now he's going to start with this system that I won't say the name, but, that prepares all the food for you. And because he lost weight on that before, but I think he's just pushing off, and he was pushing off. And now the doctor just said that he has diabetes and he has to. So that is the health scare. But at the end of the day, he could have avoided this had he not just decided to take his health in his own hands. I think you're responsible for your own health. And in a way, he was being irresponsible because now everyone's concerned. Obviously, all his friends are concerned about him, and he's, he has to do it. So now he's no longer drinking 2 quarts of Mott's apple juice every day. But it took that.
And it takes that, and hopefully he can. I'd love to connect with him. Hopefully he can make the change, because even with these health scares, then you still sometimes kind of give up. I know this. And I've talked with so many people. Sometimes they're like, well, I've got this now, so I might as well just keep doing what I'm doing. It doesn't wake everybody up. Sometimes you have to get 2, 3, 4 things, or not even make it, to really figure it out. So it's so important for him to change his life. And he can reverse this. That's, they say this with smoking.
Type 2. Yeah.
It's type 2. Yeah, he can reverse this. So this is really the wake-up call. So I hope he can really stay focused to the goal. And, it's not easy. I've gained 15 pounds after a surgery and the holidays and since March. And just starting over, I just don't care if you have to lose 5 pounds or 100 pounds.
Yep.
To wrap yourself around it and to get started again. It's so hard, even for me, who knows and has walked the walk and knows how to do it. It's just starting over is not fun. And I think that when you do, you start a habit, and it takes 3 or 4 weeks to get there. But if you can stick with it, even if you have a bad day and you eat the wrong thing, just dust yourself off and start again tomorrow. Don't go back to those old habits. That is the key. And you'll start to crave.
That's it. That's important, because a lot of people say, "Oh, I blew it today. Okay, I'm going to start Monday. I might as well just eat this whole week." And usually, if you blow it like on a Tuesday, you figure you have an entire week, and then you'll start Monday. Monday's the next Monday, and Monday's the next Monday. I mean, we've all been there, and it becomes to a point where, and then you get, and we talked about this last week also with the psychologist, which it makes a lot of sense that people tend to look at the big picture and they see, oh my God, I have to lose 100 pounds, let's say. And they say, this is impossible. And then they just shut down because they can't process 100 pounds. It just does not seem like it's even possible. And then they don't do anything. So instead of looking at it, not looking at the big picture, you look at, okay, I'm going to start with a half a pound, and then I'll start with, and then even if you lose a pound a week, that's 4 pounds a month. And then it adds up if you think about it for a whole year. And conversely, if you gain a pound a month, which is not, that's not that hard to do. It's a couple of ice cream sandwiches extra.
Right.
So, and then you gain it, and then you suddenly look at yourself and you go, wait a minute, what have I done? And that's just adding things that you could have cut out. So,
absolutely.
And someone else gave me some interesting advice, which I'm going to ask you about. They said, look, the last taste is the same as the first taste. So whether you eat we're back to ice cream sandwiches, because actually I've been kind of craving a couple of lately, I must say. So, but if you take the entire bar or you take one bite, you're still going to be left with the same taste when you finish. So it's almost, that's something to think about too. So you don't really have to eat the whole thing. But I like to break things in half and then not eat the whole thing. If it's in front of me, I eat it. I can't think of people eating like a little sliver of a muffin. If it's there, you eat the muffin. Come on.
Absolutely. Right? It's even boredom eating, right? Even if you're not hungry, I find myself nibbling, or if I'm working or, stressed. And I think you really touched on a big point. Every time I looked at the scale and I thought I had to lose 150 pounds, I thought, no way. And so I would take it in 10-pound increments. And I still do that now. Now I want to lose my last 20, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to take it in 5-pound increments. And it's just the way to do it. As far as tasting things, I am, and I've never really said this out loud until I talked to one of my followers the other day, but for me, it's dangerous. I definitely can go to a place and share a dessert or just take 1 or 2 bites now, but getting the taste of the sugar, for me, I loved chocolate, and sugar is very dangerous. Technically, I was a food addict, and I was eating these sugary foods. So the holidays really is a good test for me, because, I had more sugar than normal, and then I had to get rid of those cravings. It's like in my body, in my mind, in my taste buds. So for me, cutting it out completely or finding sugar substitutes, even though I know some of those aren't great with chemicals, but they're getting better with these things every day.
Mm-hmm.
Eating clean is so important. And I try not to deprive myself, but for this last 20 pounds, I'm going back to the basics. I'm going back to pretending I'm 150 pounds I need to lose and just starting with how I did it, because cheating for me, I need to get to that place where I can go up and down 5 pounds. But to get there, I need to really cut these things out. So I just don't have as much discipline, and that's
Well,
just
but
me.
you do. I mean, most people, and another point, there are a lot of people think, oh, I don't have a team that, I don't have a chef, and I don't have a trainer who lives like, Oprah who lives there, and I don't have all of that, and someone who can count out the food, and, it's like living at the Golden Door, which is fine.
Right.
But,
right.
it's not realistic, obviously. So, but it can be done. It can be done.
It can be done
without having, and a lot of people are thinking, oh, they're going to have the gastric bypass surgery.
Right.
Which for some people, maybe it does work. And certainly if you're that much overweight, it could save your life. But, I don't know. And I'm not, I don't feel qualified to say, well, don't have that, just do it yourself, because I don't know what their issues are. So I can't really say, but it is possible with dedication and the proper attitude that it is possible to lose the weight. And that's a big deal. That changes your whole life. It changes your life. It's a game changer.
And
right?
It helps you with your belief system too, with everything, whether it's weight, if it's alcohol, if it's drugs. I feel like they're all the same. I think that it's about applying your belief and applying the work will get you there. And you can have anything you want in this life. You just have to surround yourself with people that cheer you on. And not everyone's going to cheer you on. Make yourself accountable. And the little things that I did was cut out sugar, and that ended up being a big thing. So those small little changes really helped. When I say I cut out sugar, I probably had about 20 grams of sugar a day. And that's probably compared to 150 grams a day that I was having in my heavy life. So yes, with hard work and dedication and support, I think you can do anything in this life for sure. And that's why I'm out here sharing. I never thought I would share it. And it's just giving back to me in so many ways, my story. And people are reaching out from my past, people I went to elementary school with, strangers saying, I never believed until, I saw your video or I saw your story, and I know I can. And I just am going to go to this safe place that you're at with your accountability page on Facebook. And I'm going to post my numbers up there, and I'm going to make myself accountable because I'm not ready to share it with my family or my friends. And this is a great place and space that I'm getting cheered on. So it's really been nice, because it's not only do people think, yes, she's getting back, but my story goes back to me every day and makes me feel so fulfilled and so happy and keeps me on my path every single day, because it's like any other habit that you always have temptation. It's always there, and you really have to make the choice to be accountable and believe and kind of stay on track. And so this sharing has really helped me stay on track. So I'm so grateful for
and that's
the 13 years.
Social media comes in. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I was heavy for 13 years. If I didn't share this, I think I would have so much regret. And that's what I want to say to people is time. And the regret is kind of erased. I'm grateful that I was heavy for so long, because now I'm here sharing with everybody that it's never too late for them. Even if I had somebody reach out to me the other day saying, well, it was 30 years for me. And I'm like, well, let's not make it 31. And so she's now on her mission. So that's why it's so important. So people know. And I'm so grateful to be on your show and talk about it.
Yeah, and it's so wonderful that you're doing this. A lot of times we're also, when you watch The Biggest Loser, a show like that, and I know that we had one of their trainers on actually, and you think that's reality, that these people can go from whatever they are, 300 or even 400, maybe 500 pounds, to being a size 2. And they think, and they don't realize, and now a lot of stuff has come out about it, that they were starving, they were working out about 100 hours a day, they were, they were given all kinds of stuff. And I mean, who knows? There are allegations. We don't know for a fact.
Right.
It could just be from sore losers. I don't know. But on the other hand, that's not realistic. So what you do is you give a dose of reality that you did it, you can do it. You're going to have setbacks. You're not going to be in the gym 100 hours a day because it's just not realistic. You have to work. You have a child. There isn't time for that, nor is there an inclination to do that. But at the end of the day, you are, you're one of us that you are able to do it without being on a reality show, without going through a lot of, without having a staff who can. Wouldn't that be nice to have someone to just do all your meals?
Fantastic.
I'm taking a little detour here, but if anyone out there wants to come and send me all my meals, I think, you go to a spa, you go for a couple of days. It's nice because you get everything out. And he said, gee, I'd love to have a salad washer. But also today, Jenna, things are a lot easier because you can go and you can get a washed salad. Years ago, you'd have to spend and wash and whatever, but now you can just bag of it. And so there is no excuse. I mean, people go to McDonald's for fast food, of course, but you can always go to your local store and you can find things that you can eat that aren't fast food, that are actually good for you. And you and I and Lori will have to come up with a good for you fast food place. They don't have them. I mean, they really don't have a really good for you fast place because maybe they don't have enough. I would think enough people would want it. But I say to my husband, when we go down to visit cute son, my son, down in see that there's no place. I mean, he used to know every Cinnabon outlet by heart before he had a heart attack. And he'd know it. He'd say, oh, let's stop here. And I'd say, that has a Cinnabon. He goes, really? He said, but now he knows because after the heart attack, it's really life and death that he's not going to do that.
Absolutely.
So I'm very proud of him. But I thought, why aren't there any options? You go to any of these places here in the East Coast and you don't have anything. You have like a wilted salad, which God knows how many people have handled the salad before it comes into that little plastic box. and you have an apple that is so shiny. I'm sure they, wax it to the point where it's probably worse to eat than not to eat. And it's there's no choice. And that makes it a little bit more difficult, I think, for all of us who really do want to eat healthy. So you have to work around that too, right? You have to be realistic.
Absolutely. It's all about prepping and, we're always on the go. A lot of us women are on the go and men just with our jobs and with our families. So unless you meal prep or you have a place where where you can get a certain thing that's perfect that you enjoy, you got to make time for it. Otherwise you make bad decisions. So it's all about the prep. And it's something that I think everybody struggles with. And I wish they had more healthy options because they only usually have one or two and it's not always, like you said, appealing. So
right. No,
definitely something that needs to be worked on.
To say the least. And a lot of the places say, oh, low fat and low sugar. But what they replace it with is you might as well eat the sugar because they put in so much other stuff that the low fat is sometimes with margarine. I'm surprised a lot of these big chains, they use margarine. Who uses margarine? I mean, that's like, for any arteries left unclogged, who would ever eat margarine? That's just like eating poison. My goodness.
It really is. It's hard to wrap my head around that one.
Right. So let's just briefly talk about your health setback because I think it did sort of set you back. So briefly, what happened and then how did you rebound from it?
Sure. So I was just started with Spa Finder Wellness, and I was in training and realized that I was having some problems and went to the doctor when I came back, and they put me in for an emergency hysterectomy. And the long story is, or the short story of the whole story is that in recovery, I had an incident where I needed CPR, and it was from the anesthesia, and I'm not really quite sure. I'm just grateful to be here, and the staff was fantastic, taking care of me and getting me back up. But it's resulted in, having me on heart medicine that makes me a little tired and fear. of, it's my heart that was stopped and I had to have CPR. And I was so supported by Spa Finder Wellness. It was so grateful. I was only 5 or 6 weeks on the job, and I was lucky I was doing well and that they liked me because they didn't know me that well. And they, I started working, and I was contacting one of our partners, Movera Fitness in Utah, to renew their contract. And they discovered that my weight loss story, and they asked me to come out. And it was kind of serendipitous because I was probably 6 months after my surgery, and I could not get myself from the bed to the gym by myself. I would go occasionally or go for walks, but I was really scared to push myself. It was very mental for me, and I had to be careful because the heart doctors were telling me. And I flew out to Utah, and I did a week out there. And I got to meet some amazing people that were really trying to lose weight and conquer other things. And I found that I could, I just figured I'd go because I wanted to see if I could push myself, and I'd be in an environment where if I fell down, somebody could take me to the hospital and I would have people there. And it really worked for me. It just really battled through my trouble of, okay, I just climbed a mountain for 4 hours and did 4 fitness classes, and I didn't drop. And what I like about what they do is, in the end, I got to see 2 sessions. I got to see people come in and tell their stories, and I also got to see when they have the goodbye and the award ceremony that they're like, this is not real life because it's rigorous exercise. It's really, more diet, and exercise is not 8 hours a day, but it's a healthier start than a cleanse or a crash diet. And so I like that part and the messaging that they sent. So for me, that was a nice turning point to know that I was going to be okay. And since then, I just reached out to my network that cheered me on, and old friends that always lead me to the top and ask them to work out with me. And so I'm back on that path, but it really did set me back. Not only did I gain 15 pounds, I, had to break those barriers of fear. And I think that, life always, is going to deliver us challenges. And the older we get, I really find that it gets harder.
It does get harder. Yeah. And life is always throwing us curveballs, and just when you think you know it all, it throws a little change up. And so, and I believe, as you, that you can turn your messes, as it were, into messages, and you have done, and the fact that you could do it once gave you the strength to know that you can do it again. So that makes it, it makes you stronger, I think.
Absolutely. And the other thing I would love to drive home to people is, if you're fearful of something in your family history that you might get, or fearful that you're pre-diabetic or close to it, the thing is to get strong now, because whatever you face in the future, you need to be strong physically, mentally, and all you're going to be doing is prolonging good health by being strong. And there's no reason to wait. There's no reason to start tomorrow. It's now. It's time to start now. And that's what we're doing.
That is exactly what you're doing. And I know a lot of people who say, and this is the mentality that, oh, you know what, I'm going to do what I want because in the future, maybe I'll get sick and that's what they say, that they won't live as long. But I said, no, that's not what happens. You get sick and then you live in hell for the rest of your life. So it's not like, that you're going to die younger. And it's easy to say when you're 23 that, but as you get older, you say, wait a minute, no, I take that all back. So, but you did it. And again, that's why I wanted to have you on the show, and because I love you and because I really wanted you to give your message yet more, have even more people hear your message. So let us end with what keeps you on your path every single day and keeps you motivated, and what can you tell the listeners that will help them do the same thing?
Sure. So my story gives back to me in big ways by people reaching out to me every day and telling me their stories and them believing and fighting for themselves. There's a couple followers that I absolutely love. And to keep on your path, I would make yourself accountable to your family and your friends, or come to our safe space or wherever you feel safe to share your story and put it out there. Cut out sugar and hang out with people that really cheer you on and support your journey. And for those that don't, you just need to go on your own path until you get to where you're strong enough to be in every social scene, in every situation. So that would be my advice, and appreciate you having me on the show. I hope you guys come visit us at gettingclosereveryday.com, find our accountability pages, and join us. And anytime you can have me on, Jane. I love sharing my message. I appreciate you. So grateful for you. I love you back. And thank you for the opportunity to share my message.
Well, it's our pleasure, and you've done wonderful things, and keep this up and continue to inspire all of us on our path to look and feel, more importantly, to feel better than before. Everyone, that's our show. Thank you again, Jenna. And thank you, Lori. As always, I love you too. And thank you all for listening. This is Jane Wilkens-Michael. I will see you next week. Until then, be wise, be well, be better than before.
Have a question for Jane and want to be on the next Better Than Before show? Drop us a line via instant feedback at bmajor.org. The Jane Wilkens-Michael Show is brought to you by Express Scripts and is produced by Major Radio for Clear Channel's iHeartRadio and bmajor.org.